Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. I want to give a little bit of an update on the withdrawal from Afghanistan and the investigation that's been going on in this, the negligence that has been taking place, and give a little explanation of something known as dissent cables. So you have the State Department and you have basically a system in place where officials in the State Department can send messages back to Washington, D.C. that have to be read. It has to be heard, these messages, because they're dissenting. They're talking about something that's going on. And there were dissent cables that took place during the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And while these can take place, they're not that common to take place. And you might get one or two people on it, but to have 3 or 4 people on a dissent cable would be quite unheard of. To have exponentially more people than that on a dissent cable, basically something that hasn't happened. And these are the situations that you had taking place in the withdrawal of Afghanistan. And this is what's so important that I have to say about this. You have, and this all came out of classified briefing, so I can't give you specific details on it, but I will say this. You had all of these people working in the State Department, in Kabul, in Afghanistan, saying exactly what was taking place, what was not taking place, and what would happen if Joe Biden continued down the path that he was continuing down. Made all these warnings, and then everything that they said would happen, in fact, did turn out to happen. And here's the most important part about this. What we learned is that those dissent cables, they didn't go to the National Security Director. They didn't read it. The White House didn't read it. Joe Biden, who said he was making the decisions about the idiotic withdrawal from Afghanistan in the way that they did, choosing September 11 as the withdrawal date, other things, didn't read it. This cable outlining everything that was taking place and going to happen and predicting what would happen, didn't take the time to read it. The only folks in the White House that bothered to read this were some lawyers so that they could figure out what they wanted to say about it later. That is what's going on with this administration. That is how the abandonment, the abomination of that withdrawal of Afghanistan, Americans being killed, Americans being left behind, that's how stuff like that happens. That's how, when everybody was asking the question, how did the intelligence get it so wrong? Well, there was people that were telling how it was going to be, but it was so wrong because there were other people that were unwilling to listen. The quote-unquote decision makers, the top decision maker, President Biden, was unwilling to listen to dozens and dozens and dozens of his own people on the ground in the State Department outlining what would happen. That's an update on what's taking place. In that, as always, I wish you all the best. Y'all take care.